we can extract the rare earths and achieve quite high recoveries of around 74% for those magnet elements as well. So that's right at the upper spectrum of what's possible for these clay-hosted deposits. And certainly the low capex and low opex, and you join all those things together, makes it very attractive.
Hello and welcome to the Assay TV. I am joined by Andrew Reid, who is the Managing Director of Brazilian Critical Minerals. So Andrew, it's great to have you with us today. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, thank you very much, Eleanor.
So you're new to the Assay, so a big welcome. So let's start with a brief introduction to the company for our viewers.
Yeah, look, Brazilian Critical Minerals, obviously we're in Brazil by the name, and we have a really unique rare earth asset in the northern part of Brazil. We discovered a very large ionic clay deposit about 2 years now, and over the last 12 months ago, we announced a very large mineral resource of nearly 1 billion tonnes, and then over the last year, we've really been de-risking the process and the project through doing a lot of metallurgical test work, to the point now where we're just starting a feasibility study, and we're quite excited about the journey that we've got ahead of us over the next 12 months.
Sounds great, very exciting. So let's look more into your Ema project. So can you give us some of the highlights and a top-line view of the project?
Yeah, look, we've discovered this very large body of mineralization. It's very flat. It's like a big blanket that sits over approximately 40 square kilometres that we've defined to date. We do believe that there is a lot more. We've only explored about 45% of the tenure that we've got. And like I said, we've drilled it out. We've got 1 billion tonnes, and we've now been working through the process of how best to economically extract to the Ema Project. And we have a really unique set of chemical and physical characteristics with this ore body that has allowed us now to conclude that the best way to extract it is by what we call this in-situ recovery method, this chemical mining method of extraction, which is really, really unique. It's normally only done in Southeast Asia, and we think that we've got one of the only deposits in the Western world where you can apply this really, really ultra-low, uber-cheap capex and opex approach to the extraction of rare earths.
So you just touched on that there, which leads me nicely onto my next question. So you mentioned the in-situ recovery. Could you explain for anyone who may not know what that is, a little bit about that and the key results that you found there?
Yeah, so in-situ recovery is not a new method. It's not a new technology. It's been around for about 30 years. It's very, very widespread throughout China, Myanmar, Malaysia, and other Southeast Asian countries. The premise is that you are able to extract rare earths extremely, extremely cheaply by what we call injection of a very low-grade reagent into the soil. And then the reagent then puts the rare earths into solution, and then we're able to pump the solution to a processing plant for further downstream processing into the final product that we call a mixed rare earth carbonate. So what we actually do in the field is we actually drill a series of very, very shallow holes, and then we actually we inject the reagent into the ground at very, very low strengths. What we're using is actually called magnesium sulfate. Many of your listeners will know it as Epsom salts. The same product that you put in the bath to relax your muscles. It's exactly the same chemical formula. It looks the same, and what it actually does is actually makes plants greener, and it's really quite a green reagent, quite benign to the environment, hence why it's a very good fit for our particular project. So we inject this solution to the ground, and we sort of trickle feed it down through the clay horizon, and the magnesium in the magnesium sulfate actually then helps leach the rare earths into the solution, and then we are able to extract the solution and pump it to the processing plant.
Okay, and you also mentioned that this process is the first recorded outside of Southeast Asia. So obviously this is a huge breakthrough for the rare earth industry. How does this position your company?
Oh, look, it obviously places us in a really unique position because our capex, Eleanor, is only US $55 million. So we're somewhat 10 to 20 times lower capex than any other rare earth project on the planet right now. And our OPEX is certainly on the cost curve, one of the cheapest rare earth mines that can come into production. So it now allows us to move ahead quite quickly, knowing that even with the current prices, which are still quite depressed, that we have a project which is cash flow positive, and we think that we can bring into production in a relatively quick period of time because the capital that we require is not significant, and the actual project itself is not that difficult to actually bring online and to construct. So it's a project that certainly needs to be built and will be built, and it's certainly generating a lot of interest at the moment in the market.
Yeah, and that leads me on to my next question. So your basket price of rare earths seems to outperform your peers. What sets you apart from other companies in the rare earth space?
With rare earths, it's such a unique commodity that the head grade or the grade of the ore in the ground often has no bearing on the end set of economics. So that's the first thing I'd like to say. We have an average grade of about 750 parts per million of our mineral resource, and that places us as an average grade rare earth mine. But what we have inside of that basket is a very high percentage or composition of the key magnet elements. So the NdPr, the DyTb, we have close to 38% of the basket is the big magnets, and they contribute for any rare earth project about 90% of your revenue, right? So if you don't have those elements in a high enough composition, you really don't have a project. I think the other thing that we have is that we can extract the rare earths and achieve quite high recoveries of around 74% for those magnet elements as well. So that's right at the upper spectrum of what's possible for these clay-hosted deposits. And certainly the low capex and low opex, and you join all those things together, makes it very attractive. And the fact that we're a clay, but we're doing in situ recovery, so there's no open pit mining. We don't need tailings dams. We don't need mining equipment. There's no noise or dust, so we eliminate a huge amount of cost from the value chain, and that places the project in a very good position cash-wise, and that's what's come out of the scoping study, that we've got a really substantial body mineralisation, and it's really the next steps for us now is to convert that into a feasibility study, which we can bank with project financing, and look to bring online as quickly as possible.
Okay, and touching on that again, so as you move towards commercial development then, which is very exciting, what major milestones should our investors be looking out for in the next 6 to 12 months?
Yeah, look, we're just at the end of completing our field trial. The field trial is like a pilot plant that we've done in the field at the Ema Project. That's been enormously successful. It's achieved things beyond our expectations. We've now really confirmed that the permeability of the clays that we want to leach have a really good porosity for being able to move solution through the clay. That's a really key metric that you need for in situ recovery. We've also defined now that we have quite an impermeable base, the bedrock material at the hard rock underneath the clay. doesn't have any fractures in it, so we're able to manipulate the solution and keep the solution within the clay profile. So that's a second big milestone for us. And then obviously we've proven in the field now that we can use magnesium sulfate to leach and extract the rare earths. So all of that in the field trial we're wrapping up at the moment. We are just about to move on and complete our bankable feasibility study, which is quite exciting. That'll take us the good part of the next 6 to 9 months. We've got offtake agreements, we've got permitting ongoing, and then we've got project financing. So we want to wrap all of them up over the next 6 to 9 months, bring it all together, and then at that point we'll really start what we call the FEED, the front end engineering design work. That needs to happen. But again, given the very low capex nature of our project of 55 million, there's not a lot of work to be done there. And then we hope that we can get boots on ground and start constructing this project as quickly as possible.
So there is lots to be looking out for then. I want to thank you again, Andrew, for joining me and your first time on the Assay, and we hope to see you again very soon.
Great. Thanks very much, Eleanor.
Thank you.